You go by downloading the new updated free iPhone, Android phone, and tablet remote app found in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Listen live to your favorite shows on all of your remote devices. Information can be found on the KMET radio website at kmet1490am.com. That web address again, kmet1490am.com. Download your free new KMET remote app today. Go to the Apple App Store or Google Play Store for your free new KMET radio remote mobile app today.
Italian radio show, Mondays 4 p.m., KMET 1490, a broadcast you cannot refuse.
KMET, Fanning, Beaumont, Redland,
From
and Palm
ABC
Springs.
News. I'm Daria Albinger. It's now the Harris-Walz ticket. Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris introducing her running mate Tim Walz, a teacher and football coach who became the governor of Minnesota.
The kind of coach, because he's the kind of person who makes people feel like they belong and then inspires them to dream big. And that's the kind of vice president he will be.
The two making their first official appearance at a rally in Philadelphia.
Thank you, Madam Vice President, for the trust you put in me, but maybe more so, thank you for bringing back the joy.
The running mates are about to launch a campaign blitz through battleground states. Also in Philadelphia today, Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance.
Well, I absolutely want to debate Tim Walz, but I want to debate him actually after he's actually officially the nominee. And I did call him and congratulate him and offered him my best wishes. I think that's the polite thing to do. But look, would it shock me if the Democrats pulled another switcheroo? No, it wouldn't.
Republicans blasting Walz as being too liberal for most American voters. What was once Hurricane Debbie is blamed for at least 6 deaths in Florida and Georgia. It's now a tropical storm lumbering over the coasts of Georgia and South Carolina.
I want to urge people again to be safe. Think about what you're doing. Don't take any chances. And remember, this water can be very dangerous, particularly when it's moving.
South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster. 9 people are dead in Belle Glade, Florida, after a pickup truck missed a curb, hit the guardrail, and flipped over in a canal.
We had divers in the water, so they were actively searching the area. You could see the wheels outside of above the water.
Captain Tom Reyes of Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. The Pentagon sending a squadron of 8 F-18s to an undisclosed airbase in the Mideast, part of the U.S. effort to defend Israel in the event of an attack by Iran. You're listening to ABC News.
From the KMET Weather Center, our excessive heat warning expires at 11 p.m. For Beaumont Banning in the Pass area, as we head into the evening, a clear sky, partly cloudy overnight, low 74. Sunshine Wednesday, high 100. Clear Wednesday night, low 72. For Redlands, as we head into the evening, a clear sky, partly cloudy overnight, low 72. For Palm Springs, clear this evening, partly cloudy overnight, low 88. I'm meteorologist Jim Rinaldi for Smart Talk 1490, KMET.
Hello, listeners. This is Christopher from The Christopher Show. Hey, if you missed one of our shows here at KMET, don't worry about it. You can go to our webpage, and that's KMET1490am.com. Go to the homepage, click on the SoundCloud tab, and hear any show anytime you want.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
Welcome to KMET 1490 AM ABC News Radio and the Southern California Business Report with Yvette Walker, a show dedicated to highlighting successful Southern California businesses and the people behind them.
Welcome and thank you for joining Southern California Business Report on ABC News and Talks, KMET 1490 AM, 98.1 FM, and KMET TV. I'm Yvette Walker, live blasting our signal from the center of Southern California, serving a population of over 25 million. Get us crystal clear and on demand by downloading the free live streaming app on Google Play and the Apple App Store. As always, a huge shout out to the team. Mitch, Bill, and Sean, I love you guys. And to our special advisory committee that can be found at www.scbrtalk.com/advisory committee. Click on the link and learn about the incredible leaders doing the work. Okay, everybody, today I am extremely honored and privileged to introduce to you Acquanetta Warren, who was elected as mayor in December 2010 and re-elected in 2014, 2018, and 2022. Acquanetta Warren is serving her fourth term as the mayor of the City of Fontana. Mayor Warren focuses her administration on bolstering economic development, creating educational opportunities, improving public safety, and advocating for a healthier community. During her 8 years as a councilwoman and now fourth term as mayor, Warren has spearheaded significant economic growth and infrastructure improvement initiatives, including 4 reconstructed freeway interchanges resulting in reduced traffic congestion, safer streets, and ease of facilitating the movement of goods throughout San Bernardino County. I'm also pleased to introduce Mr. Phillip Burum, who is the Deputy City Manager for the City of Fontana, where he oversees the Development Services Organization, which is comprised of the Department of Planning, Building and Safety, Public Works and Engineering, Housing, and Homeless Services. Prior to joining the city in 2021, Mr. Burum spent his professional career in Southern California in the real estate development and home building business. As past president of the San Bernardino chapter of the Building Industry Association and a former member of the BIASC governing board, Phil served the home building industry through direct advocacy efforts with local governments, promoting the benefits of home ownership while encouraging a more predictable process and more favorable circumstances for home builders and developers. In his current role with the city, Mr. Burum remains a steadfast proponent for thoughtful development, focusing on the benefits of economic growth, bringing current and future residents. Well, thank you both so much for being here today. You are both incredible powerhouses and make a great team. So today we are actually reporting out of their latest realized project called Stage Red, touted as the premier intimate venue of the entire Inland Empire. That's right. So Mayor Warren, please share with us a little bit about the Stage Red concept.
Absolutely. Previously, this was called Center Stage, and it was a dinner theater, and we had various shows, but we recognized as a council that we needed to update because our demographics has changed and the needs have changed. You go out to other areas, myself, for instance, at Thornton Winery with jazz, which I love. And I'd be out there and half of the audience was from Fontana. So it was time to bring everybody back home. And that's what this is really all about. And we were fortunate to be able to partner with the Red Rocker himself, Sammy Hagel. And I tell you, it's been a great honeymoon. We're not going to let it end.
I love it. Still in the honeymoon phase, everybody. So, Phil, this is your first time joining the program. And as you know, my first question to each of my new guests is to please talk about what inspired you to now step into the role of Deputy City Manager in the City of Fontana.
Close your eyes.
So I don't know that story is 100% accurate.
It is.
Well, you want to lead with that before?
Yes, I do. As you probably aware, he's been very involved with the building industry, and you can go up and down the freeway and see so many projects he's been part of. But one day he came out to the parking lot when I was getting in my car, and he was not too happy with our staff. And his comment was, I could do their job with my eyes closed. So I grabbed his hand, took him in the city manager's office, and said, this is Phil Burum, and he's going to close his eyes, and you guys are going to talk. And the rest is history.
So that story is not entirely true, but it's a good story, and she likes to tell it. But in response to your comments, this wasn't on my agenda. This wasn't in my plan to work for a public agency. I was a real estate developer, very happy in my life, building new home communities and development throughout the area. And a random conversation with the mayor and the city manager here just kind of sparked an interesting conversation, which took several months to get to the point when it started to make sense that it could be an opportunity. And then I think just understanding the width and breadth of what a local city government could do, if empowered to do so. And we kind of took the leap. And I think for the first 3 months, I wasn't sure if it was the best or worst decision I ever made. But I think after that, this was a great opportunity because I think we're doing some really cool things in this town. So.
I tell you, I think about going past them in the hallway and them. Do you know they're reporting to me? I said they all report to you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Eyes open or eyes closed.
Yeah, they were definitely closed. I think in our first conversation when she was asking me how it's been after a month, I said I did not have a grasp of how big the development service organization was. I thought I was going to come and work with the planning department, a little bit with the building safety, maybe some housing, because those are my expertise. But when you add public works and engineering and 300 people later, but I'm blessed with great department heads that do all the heavy lifting, and I get to take all the credit.
And I tell you, in this building we are sitting in, I know this would not have happened beside my great colleagues on the council. This man worked so hard to put this together and put passion in it. And the night that we opened this up, everyone that was associated with was hugging it. That's terrific.
This was a neat project. This was unique. So I know the mayor talked kind of briefly about the history, but the city acquired this building about 20 years ago. It was built in 1937. So it's a historic building. It was originally a single screen movie theater, and it has been several different things as economies have changed. But the city acquired it, did a massive renovation project back in the 06, 07, 4 or 5, 6, yeah, somewhere around there, and opened it up as a dinner theater. So it was a great place to have plays and come see kind of live dinner theater entertainment. But as the mayor mentioned, as the demographics of Fontana changed, there wasn't as much attendance. It was a great program. The operator here did a great job, and we love what they did for 15 years.
Yes.
But the council wanted to appeal to our demographic, which is the median age of 32 or 33 these days,
33, yeah.
and create a real entertainment center that could also drive the reason for our residents to spend more time downtown. So that's one of the things I definitely want to talk a little bit about. Today's the entertainment district we're creating, but the idea of creating really a premier entertainment venue in an area that doesn't currently have an active downtown. This is hopefully the catalyst for what will start bringing the north and the south and the central parts of Fontana together. We're a big population.
Yes, we absolutely are. And I tell you, people are excited. The marquee went up before the building was completed. It was not unusual to see people taking pictures of themselves in front of Selfie Land because it was just so unique. And we tried to keep the character of the building together and did an incredible job with that. But at the same time, we know it's the future. And that's what this is really all about. We want this to be a destination site, not only for our residents, but the entire region. But we're finding, we had people in here about 3 weeks ago that told me they live way up in Brentwood and out in Hollywood and, out in Orange County. People are just coming back.
Right. And, stepping into the, stage red, I'm able to appreciate the decor, the integrity of the architecture's all been respected, enhanced, and elevated, brought into the 21st century. And I feel like this is absolutely a fun place to come, enjoy some concerts, some live intimate entertainment.
And the food is amazing. They almost ran out of short ribs.
The short
ribs night, and Supervisor Amadeus and I were giving each other dead eye. I'm getting that last plate.
Were you fighting over the ribs?
Yeah.
we were going, the vibe we were going for, or that I was going for, and I think it worked, is if you remember the Brown Derby, which was the big 50s and 40s hangout for the movie stars in Hollywood, if the Brown Derby were built today, but in Dubai. So a little tacky, a little elegant, and I think that we got rock and roll tacky. Worked out okay.
Well, you got the Troubadour in here too.
Yeah, you've got the idea is that you've got several different fan experiences. You've got a very Troubadour Viper room, standing room only, acting foolish in front of the stage, but also a place that you can bring a date and you can have a more intimate area where you can sit and be served, and then a ridiculous VIP experience.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just perfect in here. It's over the top. It's a little flamboyant, but that's what makes it what it is.
That's right? What Fontana's all about. We do things flamboyant. We make it happen because we're proud of what we're doing. And even the chairs, down to the chairs, people were making comments about the chairs, how comfortable they were. But when the show begins, everybody's on their feet. It cracks me up.
Wonderful. So talk about the level of coordination that goes into creating something like Stage Red.
I'll let him handle that because all I did was run down here and look and go, are we going to be ready June 15th?
So I think it really goes back to the inception of the concept conversation, which was now probably 2.5 years ago with some of the council members, given the direction, hey, this is what we want. And I think from my perspective, and one of the advantages I think that I have, and the reason I would work in a city, and especially in a city like Fontana, is the council gives the direction and then empower staff to figure it out. So I was blessed by the support of the council. Here's the idea we want, run with it, figure out a way to create a spectacle in downtown. What you said about the over the top, the idea is we want casino level acts in this really small space. So the fans can have a very unique experience. The coordination in the design, I think a major key was obviously getting involved with Sammy Hagar. When we involve Sammy, it's not only does he lend his name and credibility to the venue that will helpfully start attracting the artists that would not normally look at a venue like this, but it also gave us his team. And Sammy is a brand. Sammy doesn't need money. He's done okay in life with his different food and beverage designs and his alcohol brands that he's done. But what he's accumulated over the last 30 years of just being an entrepreneur is a brilliant team, branding people, interior designers, architects. So having him involved in his management team got me access to all of them. And that's how this whole vibe and aesthetic was created. Right down to Bose doing the sound system, and it's custom engineered by them. One of the beautiful things about this venue is we're trying to create a studio quality sound in a live entertainment space. Right. So it's not like going to, and no disrespect to big arenas and the Forum and all those other places, the sound is not the same. We're trying to create that sound here. We're still working on, still tweaking out some of the things, but the idea is you'll come here and it's crystal clear. The technology that we've employed with, HD 5.0 recording cameras and the sound and the internet, you can stream a Netflix special from here and it'll be the highest quality that you'd find any, like the Wiltern in LA as well.
Remarkable.
It had to involve a lot of people, a lot of experts, because I certainly wasn't one.
Well, looking around, you can see that this has been done to the nines, expertly crafted across the board. But for those that may not be familiar with Sammy Hagar, which I can't believe would be, tell us who Sammy Hagar is.
And why is he part of this? So Sammy Hagar is a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee. He was a solo artist in the early to mid 70s. Joined a band called Montrose, had one of the biggest rock and roll songs ever with Montrose, went out on his own again. I think most people really heard of Sammy when his, early 80s, I Can't Drive 55 was his big top hit. Then he joined Van Halen and led Van Halen for 3 or 4 albums, and in the process sold 50 million records worldwide. Was with Van Halen for 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 years, and then has done different bands, different super groups with guys like Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Jason Bonham, and Michael Anthony, and Vic Johnson, and now he's touring with Joe Satriani. But the reason Sammy's involved here is he's a Fontana High School graduate. Wow. So he grew up in Fontana, had, as he would describe, a little bit of a sordid past, but I think they moved here when he was very little.
Right. But I'll tell you the key, and I'm really proud of this. We had 2 council members that just stayed on top of this project too, and that is Councilmember Phillip Burum and Councilman Peter Garcia, and they worked closely with Phil to make sure that they kept those generational levels in here so we can attract people. But what was so key of them going to is when he got his star, and in the entire speech, and you got to run this one day. He talked about growing up here in Fontana. It will bring you to tears.
Oh, my goodness.
He talked about how much he appreciated Fontana and what it did for him. And everyone that has ever seen that, we know we have a piece of it. And he made this a Sammy Hagar venue. He has several. So we're in a league of the best.
Absolutely. What a legacy piece, right? Talk about full circle moments growing up here, graduating from Fontana High, and now creating a marquee venue for the entire community.
And he's donated pictures and guitars, and you'll be able to see all that.
This is kind of a museum tribute to Sammy. So thank you, which we can tour it a little bit. But.
Yeah, I'm really proud. My class reunion is coming up August the 16th here in Fontana. You know, I grew up in the South Central and everybody, South Los Angeles.
You can't call it.
I can't call it South Central anymore. And so a lot of people are looking forward to some tours. So I'm really proud to show off our city.
That is exciting. So is this venue location open to the public for private events, or is it mostly booked talent?
Well, there's another great gym that we were able to acquire. Talk about that.
So the answer to your question is yes and yes. It's primarily an entertainment venue, but it's going to take us several years to establish 2, 3, 4 shows a week when it becomes more of a regular thing. So we were able to engage ASM Global and Madison Entertainment to operate the venue. So ASM operates hundreds of venues nationwide, including the Toyota Arena, the Coach House in San Marcos, and a lot of larger venues. This is a very small venue for them. But we met with their leadership and they kind of caught the vision and have really jumped in, and they have been such a great partner in having the design and the interior design and the sound and the lights and all that was great, but you really needed an operator to step in and kind of take control. And they've done some great things even since they've been here to up the level. But yeah, they will start offering it for private parties. We're still getting our feet wet. We just opened a little over a month ago when Sammy did the show on June 15th. But we're still testing out the sound system and all that stuff. So over the next several months, we'll still be just doing acts once or 3 or 4 times a month. But I suspect their Christmas bookings are already starting because it's a really cool place to have a private event.
We had an inauguration kind of event with Gerald Albright, the saxophone player. He and I went to school together. So we wanted someone to come in before Sammy got here so we could test out everything. And I asked him when he was walking out the door, "What do you think, Gerald?" Get an A.
Get an A.
Everyone loves it.
Oh my goodness. So when you talk about a small venue, I'm looking around, but tell us how many people fit here?
So if we go to a standing room only occupancy on the floor in front of the stage, our maximum occupancy is about 350. And when we do like a jazz show with seated on the floor, it drops to about 210. And but the acts that we're trying to book, we'll have lots of different acts. But like Gerald Albright is a casino level act. So like Sammy is selling out the Forum right now.
Yeah.
So Sammy's performing in a venue that has 8,000 seats. We had him in something. We had 360 people here. That you get to just feel.
It was so intimate, and it was to have Big Johnson here. You just don't see that, and he played and explained every song.
It was like a storyteller. It was very very neat.
So neat.
But that's what we're trying to do. Is we're going to do acts like that. We'll have, and we're going to be as we test our market. You know, because we really don't know. Fontana hasn't had an entertainment district. And we're serving a population of about 2 million if you take a 30-minute radius around us. So we're going to be testing all different types of music to see what the appeal is. And then as we get into kind of full swing over the next year to 18 months is when we'll start attracting and booking a lot bigger artists.
Which reminds me, if you're watching this, Darius Rucker, I'm coming for you.
Yes.
I want you to come here.
Darius.
There you go.
Hashtag Darius at Stage Red.
Well, if we're doing that, hashtag Dave Grohl needs to drop an album here.
Yes.
Whoa.
I'm just saying.
The best taste in music, my goodness.
Well, you know, I think his prior life, he ran places like this.
I'm a bit of a music file. When I was a child, I ran a nightclub. But so the music and the live entertainment is something that's been very close to me. When I go out, I like to go see live music. So we tried to develop an experience that would appeal to every fan of handily every economic standing as well. You'd have the true full VIP experience with a meet and greet with the act, or you can stand in front of the stage sweating like you're in the Viper Room. You can have all those.
And we've seen it already.
And it's been here. And we've also built the venue for the artists because as Scott Page said, who was the secretary for Pink Floyd when he was here a few weeks ago, they saw the green room and said, this is how you're supposed to treat artists. So we built an apartment for them,
where they can bring their family. And we're working on the back for RV and buses, because, you know, a lot of entertainers have buses.
Right. Yeah.
So this is no joke.
Right. They're on the road and you are creating the perfect accommodations to welcome them in with the red carpet.
But the beauty is downtown is going to be a special place for people to come. People are going to be living here. We have housing right behind us coming up.
Wow.
Lots going on.
Yes.
Lots going on.
I just saw the scaffolding as I was parking.
Yeah, the parking lot.
Yes. Talk about how Stage Red fits into the bigger scheme of the downtown revitalization effort.
Well, let me tell you, we have a vision that downtown will be a destination site, not only for people that are not part of our city, but mostly for the people that live here, where they can just say, you know what, I'm just going to go downtown tonight, springtime. We've been testing this. We've had street night on Spring. It's packed. We get to dance together. We have good DJs, great vendors out there, food trucks. We just want people to take ownership of what they own. This is theirs. And we're listening to all the vibes of what everybody wants to see. And we're trying to make sure we provide.
Absolutely.
So this is an important part of it, but this is a really small piece. What the council wants is an entertainment district. So the residents of Fontana don't have to go to Eastvale or Victoria Gardens or Claremont or
Redlands or anything.
Create something. I mean, if you look at it geographically, we're dead between Claremont and Redlands. They have very specific downtown, very specific vibes, and that's awesome. We don't want to compete with 5-star farm to table restaurants in Redlands or the college town, but we have to create our own little path in the middle, so we can capitalize on all the people out here and draw our Fontana residents to downtown. So as the mayor said, we've been doing the Spring Street Market Night with different type of DJ music, so we can see who's more popular, what type of food, so we can start attracting those types of restaurants. So we're doing a lot of experimentation to see what our population responds to. But as far as the overall bigger picture of downtown, Stage Red will experiment with lots of different music over the next year. We're building the parking structure right behind us, so the parking is never a problem. If you ever go to downtown, it's always parking. So we're getting out in front of that. We're going to have plenty of parking downtown. Right behind Stage Red is the Miller Park and Amphitheater.
Right. And it's being fenced in.
So we can
because there's a larger venue. I mean, I don't know if you heard, we had Rolls Royce here a couple of years back, 9,000.
Wow.
Right up in that.
Just recently, we did our fireworks display and had Yachtly Crew perform at the amphitheater and had about 8,000 or 9,000 people there for that.
Yeah. I mean, it was so bad. I remember the officers calling me and said, Mayor, get off of Instagram. Rolls Royce, stop inviting people because they were already in line to get in.
So creating spectacle events like that, what we can envision doing music festivals. I know that Fontana is going to do really well with bandas and have a lot of different. So we would do a weekend festival featuring bandas where you could do free concerts outside, and then a premium show like Grupo Frontera would come inside. So there's all kinds of options that we have with some of the spaces we have downtown. But the idea is to create an entertainment space that people will choose to come to.
And then we got Spoggy's with Chef Henry. And let me tell you, he opened up that Saturday night for dinner and it was amazing. Amazing.
He does some great food over there.
So we're really looking at this to be that spot.
Well, I'm just absolutely thrilled. It only took me 15 minutes to get here, but before we go any further, we're going to hit a break right now. All right, everybody, Yvette Walker here with ABC News and Talk Southern California Business Report, here today with Fontana's trailblazing leaders, Mayor Acquanetta Warren and Deputy City Manager Phillip Burum. These visionaries have dedicated themselves to shaping the future of the city of Fontana, and their commitment to progress, innovation, and community is nothing short of remarkable. Join us as we delve into their extraordinary journey, leadership philosophies, and vision for a thriving Fontana when we return.
Hi, I'm Dana Rademacher with MGR Property Management.
A lot of people wonder about the value that property management has for their property. Property management can include all property types, including residential, commercial, and HOA. It is valuable because property managers are experienced in what can happen at your property. We're aware of liabilities. We're able to do predictive and preventative maintenance. We know what is coming up with the changes in the weather, the seasons, how old certain aspects or different capital projects at your property are. we're able to best negotiate contract pricing, legalities with your tenants, and anything else that you may need to ensure that you're getting the full value of the property. If you're interested in speaking with the representative at MGR Property Management regarding your property management needs, you can visit our website at mgrrealestate.com, or you can call our number at area code 909-581-6600 to be connected with the representative.
The University of La Verne is rated first in California for alumni satisfaction. Learn more about accelerated programs offered online and on campus in La Verne, Irvine, Ontario, Burbank, or College of the Canyons. Visit go.laverne.edu. The University of La Verne. go.laverne.edu.
We are the Empire Strikers, the professional sports team of the Inland Empire. We are a fast-actioned and community-inspired pro indoor soccer team. Our mission is to inspire the Empire. Home games, community events, watch parties, and youth camps are all back. Professional indoor soccer is back. Join us and come watch the greatest show on turf at Toyota Arena or on Twitch. Visit www.theempirestrikers.com for more and any information.
Cal State San Bernardino is home to the only school of entrepreneurship in California. With globally ranked degree programs, you can start your journey today to become a successful entrepreneur. Learn more and connect at entre.csusb.edu.
Hi, I'm San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes. If you're looking to start an exciting career in law enforcement and make a difference in your community, we are hiring dispatchers, nurses, deputies, laterals, and many more. For a complete list of our jobs and more information, visit sheriffsjobs.com.
Ontario International Airport is onto a better way to fly with over 65 daily nonstop flights to more than 20 major destinations and the easiest airport experience in Southern California. Visit flyonto.com/Ontario to learn more about Ontario International Airport today.
Welcome back, everyone. Yvette Walker with ABC News and Talk, Southern California Business Report, here today with Fontana's trailblazing leaders, Mayor Acquanetta Warren and Deputy City Manager Phillip Burum. Thank you again for being with us here today.
Thanks for having us.
So prior to the break, we were going into detail about Stage Red, the capacity, the brainstorming and the process that went behind making this come to life. Now let's talk about how the benefit to the community happens, right? What's the benefit to the community when you're able to bring in anchor entertainment venues like Stage Red, backed by a star like Sammy Hagar?
People don't realize that when you leave our area and spend your money, you leave your money with other people. We need you to act like you're dealing with your home. You don't take your paycheck and go down the street and say, here you go, I'll be back next week. We need you to play, earn, work, and just understand the importance of home. We need those funds here. Now, as a result of that, we need to attract other people's money so they can drop their paycheck off here and go back buy home.
So invite the friends.
Invite the friends. And that's what we're really trying to do.
So Fontana, as some that may or may not know, was a blue-collar working town from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and it had their traditional Mayberry-type downtown. Probably nobody knows what Mayberry is.
I do. I love Mayberry.
So it had a thriving downtown, just like Mayberry. But in the 80s and 90s, when Kaiser Steel closed down and the demographics changed, and so did the economy of Fontana, it was transitioning from the old farm community to the steel town to the more suburban as development started to come out this way. What it wasn't able to do is attract a substantial entertainment district. Cities like Rancho were able to develop Victoria Gardens and kind of just add water, instant downtown. Cities like Eastvale literally was just add water, build a city.
Right.
So they were able to start from scratch. Fontana had a history that it had to work its way through. So what the council wanted, not only with Stage Red, but with the rest of the downtown plan, is to create downtown entertainment district, that's an amenity for our residents. Fontana is fortunately has been very conservative fiscally over the years, and has been able to just be very fiscally responsible. So it enabled us to invest some revenue in here right now that will create long-term revenue, but the goal is an amenity for the residents. It doesn't need to immediately generate economic returns. This is the long-term plan for Fontana. And really the council's been great about treating Stage Red and the rest of this as it's like a park.
Right.
This is something we're investing in to satisfy the needs of our residents, and it's been great to work with them on it.
Absolutely. And let me just hit on the point that you made, Mayor Warren. You're not going to go spend your money outside the city, but talk about the importance of spending your money here. What do those tax dollars go directly to here?
People don't understand. We have 50 parks. People always say, I'm paying my taxes here. Well, guess what? You are paying here, but they're not coming here. Most of the taxes go to the state. So when you see the council going to DC and coming over to the state, we're actually going to get your money back because they collect it when you spend it and we have to go get it. And that's through grants or through entitlements or straight out begging. And so when you're spending your money here, the sales tax is what we're able to turn those into pouring water on ground parks, the programming. There's no assumption that has ever been worse when people say, you just have to do that. We can't do it unless we have the funding. So if you look at our summer programming, the majority of it is free. We have concerts in the park. We have healthy walks. We've got our Pacific Electric Trail. We've got so many things going on. All that's coming from sales tax. So that's why it's important, beside the grants we get. And by the way, talking about those grants, we have to match them. So all the funding that comes here, we are keeping. But when you're paying your property tax or you're dealing with your income tax stuff, that's going out. And that's why we have to go get it back. And we cannot get it all back. So whatever we can do at home, you're going to feel the best about. Your street sweeping, trash collection, even making sure right now we have a real staff shortage. It's no big secret. We're always advertising for people, trying to get people to come to work for the city. But at the same time, we're advertising empty sites, but we need more employees to handle the different things that we want to see done that benefit your quality of life. So it's important that these types of projects bring value, not only in the value of you having a good time, but it helps to pay for those other services. All the things you see in the city, they were not free. We had to work together and unify our efforts with other agencies. We have a great county supervisor, Supervisor Jesse Armendariz. He walked right into here and said, I want in. It's a great project, but we have to work together with everyone.
Absolutely. So I understand, talking about going after those dollars, you were recently at the National Conference of Mayors.
Yeah.
Please talk about that experience and, your involvement, the feedback, and what you came home with.
I tell you, the biggest issue we're dealing with at that group level right now is homelessness. And you got to come back and talk about the path, which also Bill worked on, where we bought a hotel. It's going to eventually become 120 beds. But we have a team of over 15 officers on the street daily, dealing with homelessness, mental health, the whole, 9 yards. And we're trying to meet people where they are. We got a dog named Scout, who's our biggest ambassador, because who doesn't love dogs?
Everyone loves dogs.
So when you're trying to get through to people that are experiencing so many things, having to be outside, not knowing where their next meal or where they're even going to use the restroom, it is daunting to have that lifestyle. But then you're talking to that person saying, I can bring you in, I can help you. And a lot of people don't understand. We can't make them do it. They have to volunteer to want help. We don't just say, you got to do this. Can't do it that way. But when we show up with that dog, they remember when they were a child, or they remember when people in their mind really cared about them. And by the way, I talk to a lot of our homeless people. They don't understand there's other options. So we know it takes 30 to 40 contacts. So I'm proud of my involvement with the U.S. Conference of Mayors Homeless Task Force, led by the City of Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. We're all working toward getting solutions, and we're all working toward making sure at the federal and state level that they understand that it is local. We want to work with our county, but the city is on the ground right where it's going. And we too need to be funded.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the importance of collaboration and outside funding when it comes to running a city and being able to realize these impactful projects.
Well, it's no secret. The infrastructure bill was major out of Congress, to the point where the president personally invited me to speak that day. And I represented not only Fontana, but every governor and mayor in the United States. I'm so proud of that, because those dollars were for us to go after, and we were very successful. So we have our RAISE grant, and we just released a documentary. That was one of the things, U.S. Conference of Mayors, they documented 3 cities throughout the United States that got that grant, and Fontana was one of those cities. So we'll make sure you get a copy of that.
Absolutely. We're going to have to share it and distribute it, because that is an incredibly tremendous accomplishment. I'm speechless. It was one of 3.
One of 3. And we are close to start construction. Just hang in there. I always say that. I know when Sierra was being built, where I went, Mayor, our patience is thin. I said, your patience? You have to look at mine. But it finally got done. And now we're doing the landscape. And we're going to party on Sierra. Right, Phil?
That's a good story, man.
We're going to party.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's what yes, ma'am, Mayor. Let's talk about the business-friendly environment and innovation of the City of Fontana and how that's contributed to the evolution of the face of Fontana and the continued growth.
We're open for business. And we're not just saying that, we mean that. And this particular man and his staff are always coming up with solutions. You know, a good friend of mine, Willie Brown, asked me one day, Acquanetta, how do you handle the word no? There was a bunch of electeds in a room. We were at a funeral waiting for the service to start, and everybody had a nightmare about how do you say no. I smiled. I said, for me, no. I tell people the answer is no, but you're going to love the solution. So in this city, we don't just say no, we try to get people where they need to be. We have standards and we have visions of how we want to see our business community thrive. So to do that, you have to work closely. So we support Fontana Chamber of Commerce, which, and all I can say is it's the largest chamber this side of the Mississippi for me. They are doing an incredible job.
Absolutely. And Danielle Hawley, the executive director, many props to her, because
she's amazing.
Charge. Yes, absolutely. So, Phil, tell us about the importance of the leadership that you work with and the collaboration it takes to make this all happen.
Make me say something nice about her in front of her. So the leadership is key and crucial. I mentioned earlier that being in government, local or otherwise, was never in my long-term plan. But the leadership of the council and the attitude of the council it is what attracted me to the city. What the mayor just mentioned about being open for business, that's very important. You can't just stay that small town. You can't just stay the city has to be growing. You mentioned about the funding and why it's important to keep tax dollars locally. I think what most people don't realize is the basic math of things like property taxes. If you have a $500,000, if your home is worth at $500,000, the city's Fontana's general fund gets $200 a year. That's your taxes hard at work in local dollars. That's why sales tax revenue is so important. Mm-hmm. New business revenue is very important. Business license fees, hotel taxes. So ongoing development helps support those 50 parks that the mayor was talking about.
Yeah, we just can't build them. We got to maintain them.
Right.
With the council, what the most important thing to them was to create a suburban urban environment, but that's very family friendly. So there isn't a city with as many parks and as many ball fields and as many different community services programs. I think Daniel, at the peak of his year, has about 500 people working in community services.
Right. Not to mention, we are very, we're tied to the hip with our educational partners. I mean, Fontana Unified School District, we work with them. We have the Mayor's Education Coalition, and we're exposing 4 to 7,000 children a year to the various options. You know, if you don't want to go to college, we want you to go to college, but you're not going to be left behind. We're going to expose you to a career so that you can take care of yourself and your family. Absolutely.
So it's, I think, having a council and a city manager. We have Matt Valentine is a great city manager. He
knows what he's
gets it.
doing.
And he knows how to manage a city council, which is a wonderful thing. But having the leadership and the foresight and the vision to know what they want, but then also to not waffle on that. I've been, as a developer for 25 years, I've had to interact with a lot of political figures and a lot of and watching. I know what you want. Can you stand behind that when it's time to deliver it? And the council's been very clear what their direction is. They're pro-business, they're pro-family, they're pro-parks and services. They know that you have to do this in order to get this. And when we come forward with projects and we reach out to the business community, the business community reach out to us, the council's been very supportive of doing the things that are supportive of their overall vision. And I think Fontana is a great success story of how to do that.
And a number of us have, I miss the council before. We had Mark Ramey and Josie Gonzalez and Janice Rutherford and everybody. You still got John. All of us, when we were trying to put the floor plan together, I call it, it was our general plan update, which I had the honor in 2000 of being the vice chair. Ken Galasso, who's Sierra Realty, was the chairman. And what we wanted to map out for our city was somewhere where families come. And I grew up in an environment where there was one park 3 miles away. The only place to play was either in your backyard or on the sidewalk. And it always made me wonder, what kind of life can I leave for my children and my grandchildren? And I feel real good about what we've done in Fontana and how we've done it. We're growing, and I get a lot of residents. You're not answering my emails that day. Well, when you get 80 or 90 emails, you got to take your time, but I'm going to get back to you. But I think overall, the access that people have to us to tell us how they're feeling is there. It really is. And so it gives me really, we were just in a restaurant and a lady came up to me and she said, I don't want to bother you with this. And I said, no, you have to. And we literally sat there with her until we figured out what we could do to help her. And that's because we live here too. I always tell people, you don't think I want nice things? I live here too. Right.
I think one of the testaments to supporting family and attracting families and doing what we can to attract families is the last 2 parks that the city has constructed. We've delivered 7 new football/soccer fields in the areas that aren't experiencing a development. So this is serving a population that didn't have those before, and the city had the foresight to. We have more football/soccer fields per capita than any large city in California. It's bar none. And they continue to add and look for new opportunities to do it. We just opened South Fontana Park last year.
We are so proud of.
2 years early, Central City Park, which is just 2 blocks from here. I don't know how many downtowns have 3 football fields within
right here
the block area.
Right.
So
and
the council's been great. The vision is there, and they supported the implementation.
I just told someone, if you want to see Fontana at its finest, be here around 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning. There are so many little people running around here with their equipment and their lunches and get out the way. We got a game. It's just wonderful.
So now it's pickleball.
Oh my God, pickleball.
We're trying to add new pickleball courts.
Yeah, and we're doing our best, but it's hard to explain this funding. And then we need the staff resource to manage it. So we're doing what we can for now, but once we get to another level, we'll even do more.
Right. And so, you spoke about something that makes so much sense that I don't think a lot of people think about. And those are the amount of time that it takes to move these projects forward, right? You talked about the floor plan. How long ago was that floor plan established? And what is the realities of how those timelines move along from concept to completion?
Well, people don't realize it's not only the city. For the grants, for instance, the RAISE grant, we've had to get approvals at the federal level and at the state level, particularly at the different agencies. So we were just there. And of course, when we met with the Department of Transportation, they sat across from me, giving me that look like, when? And I look back, y'all. And so we're working with the various agencies, and they're working with us because they recognize the importance. We got to spend this money. They have also given us money for Foothill and the safe route. And that is going to be major, where we can take care of that bridge that goes over Foothill, increase the lanes. Because if you notice on Foothill, for years, people did not want multifamily. And what they did was strap this town to a vision of going nowhere with restaurants. They didn't understand. It's the day traffic and it's that temporary traffic. Because just guess, most people living in these homes, they cook every night. People in the apartments have a different type of lifestyle. So people came to our council meeting a couple of months ago bragging about, we stopped you from doing multifamily. I said, no, you didn't. What you did was stop this town from growing in restaurants. But on Foothill, we're starting to see the developers come back, and it's booming. We've got buildings going all up and down Foothill, and guess what? Now we can attract the eateries, which by people need to understand, sit-down restaurants are not that prevalent anymore. People want to do eateries. You can be creative for sitting spots. So that's what we're trying to pull.
You need density really to drive that. They want a certain population with a certain walking or driving distance. But on the conversation about timing, of just a few examples, I always say that whenever you do a city project, it always takes longer than you'd expect and costs way more than it should. It's just the public format. But by way of example, the Sierra Avenue Capital Improvement Widening Project, which was taking an existing road that was 4 lanes, 2 in each direction, and turning it into 6 lanes with a median, that was added as a capital improvement project in 2018.
Wow.
Over a 4-year period, the right-of-way was acquired, the environmental work was done, the plans were designed, and we broke ground 2 years ago and are finishing it this summer.
Now that is light speed.
6 years though, and that's just a road wide.
And that's so hard for people to understand. I mean, when I would be in the market, people are like, Acquanetta, they won't even move the equipment. I said, you guys, you got to understand, as we go along, we get held up. Utilities can hold you up. I don't want to put nobody on the bus, but we did have some utility companies that I was ready to knock on their door. Because I said, what are you guys taking so long for? So we have to work with everyone. Cooperation is the key. You got to have those relationships. And this council is mature in that. You know, I can pick up the phone and use some juice and say, I need my stuff done now. So we have to do that because we want to see these projects move.
And there are built-in things that you just have to do for your public agency. This theater here, the conversation started about 26 months ago. We had the agreement with Sammy 2 years ago. And then we had to go into design. You got to publicly bid that. You got to go into design. Then you get all the plans approved. And then you got to publicly bid the improvements. And then once in a while, you got to fire a contractor.
Right. Well, we want to talk about that. Came down here one day, boxes were everywhere, and everybody's sitting. I went, I don't think so.
So any public improvement, having that parking structure, which wasn't even a conversation 20 months ago, being done this year, we're moving at light speed, right?
It is scary because I said, when are we going to do the groundbreaking? And I stepped over and I said, okay, when are we going to do the dedication?
It's 3 levels up.
Yeah, 3 levels up. Or maybe we should do the ribbon cutting.
Right, absolutely. So, Phil, tell us, from your perspective, what do the next 5 years in Fontana look like to you as a deputy city manager, and then to you as well, Mayor?
Well, I think it's the ongoing growth. I mean, I think the focus, the mayor mentioned homelessness, which is the biggest problem the nation's facing, particularly Southern California and all of California. So I think that the approach towards homelessness, the impact of homelessness on the area, that's got to be our primary focus. The council's primary focus, and we're putting a lot of resources towards that. So I am optimistic that that won't be a conversational issue for the city of Fontana over the next 2 to 5 years. I think downtown this will be an entertainment district. This is here obviously, but in the next 18 months to 36 months, Fontana's downtown will be reshaped. We're starting to add multifamily, which the mayor mentioned was something that Fontana pushed away from for a very long time. But we currently have over 2,000 apartments in plan check in different statuses. So having some more multifamily, having more housing diversity, we now have tract homes in Fontana selling for over $1 million. So you also have to backfill that with apartments that you can rent for $2,000. So creating more and continuing with the housing diversity is a real key item, but growing the local economy is really what our focus is and what the council has really focused on.
And to do that, I am, retired Deputy Public Works Director from Upland. Infrastructure is the key. So I'm focused on our homeless, efforts right now because I know that's part of creating infrastructure for people. But the other part of this is we need to have our utilities step it up. And water is key to the state. I've stuck myself in that conversation big time. I'm the chair of the Southern California Water Coalition. And I mean, we are trying our best to make water sustainable and make sure we're there to have those conversations. I think the governor's office has stepped up and said, we're going to have to figure out something with the Delta. And we're working in that direction. But we also have to remind our legislators, we are not one size fits all. It doesn't work. And we don't need to spend our time battling each other over that concept when we all should be saying, what do we need to make the quality of life for everyone in the state good? So those are the kinds of issues we're going to start really seeing come up and work toward. We want to make sure that anything energy saving is right in front of it. So these are important.
Absolutely. Well, our interview has come to a close. It's so sad. It went by so quickly,
I know.
especially with such, robust conversation and exciting outlooks for what is happening.
We didn't even talk about the reading program.
You want to do another hour?
We'll come back again here. I love this set here. We'll be doing it stage red. We'll be to be continued.
Or maybe we'll be in the parking lot by then.
Right, or maybe in the parking lot by then, but I think the acoustics here are much better, right? All right, everybody. So for everybody listening, don't forget to look for us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Check us out on scbrtalk.com. Don't miss my interview with Kurt Hagman, who was elected to serve San Bernardino County's 4th District in 2014 and named chairman of the Board of Supervisors in January 2019 and 2021. The 4th District covers Chino Hills, Montclair, Ontario, and the southern portion of Upland. Hagman serves on multiple boards, committees, and commissions like the Ontario Airport Authority, Inland Empire Health Plan, and San Bernardino County Transportation Authority. Along with his service on the Board of Supervisors, Kurt works tirelessly to represent the community and is often seen working to bring new ideas and better opportunities for the families, businesses, workers, and nonprofit organizations in the county. Next week, we will have Bay Area native Tony Geminani, who is a 13-time World Pizza Champion, 4-time Guinness World Record holder, and author of Pizza Bible, prolific philanthropist and renowned San Francisco restaurateur. A steadfast supporter of North Beach, Geminani's flagship restaurant, Tony's Pizza, Napolitana, and eateries such as Capo's, Slice House, Toscano's Brothers Bakery, and Giovanni's Italian specialties are rooted in San Francisco's historic Italian neighborhood. Geminani continues his investment in the community this year by launching San Francisco's first ever pizza, bagel, and beer festival that debuted to a sold-out crowd spanning Filbert and Stockton streets. Additionally, in 2023, Geminani launched a franchise program for Slice House, which now has over 100 locations under development across the country, including its first one in the Inland Empire. You do not want to miss it. We will see you all next week.